Hello, I am Zarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. The Takeo Takagi build you see on the screen before you is the one I am using on the Japanese legendary battleship Yamato. I've got Cunningham and Jauchard as inspirations, might change one of them moving on. Here is my mod selection: Aiming Systems Mod 1 in the first slot, Damage Control in the second, Target Acquisition in the third, and the main gun mod in the fourth slot, which decreases the reload at the expense of increasing turret traverse. Alright, so for this first impressions game on the Yamato, we're going to be on Sea of Fortune in a domination mode match. Perhaps I should talk a little bit about why I've chosen the mod selection that I have, particularly the mod selection in the second slot, which is damage control and could have been either propulsion or steering gears. What's the reason I've chosen damage control? Well, you have a limited selection of commanders for this particular legendary battleship. On the Grosse Kurfürst, for example, I have access to Hyde, Ciliax, Megatron, and Hipper. So there's a lot of commander choices, and Hyde, Ciliax, and Megatron, all three offer survivability skills that benefit the GK, but also don't cut down too terribly much on its offensive potential. As far as the Yamato goes, my choice is between Takagi, Kondo, and Arthas the Cold. Takagi is the more offensive, accuracy dispersion build commander, and then Kondo and Arthas the Cold are your survivability commanders. They come with an enticing skill, Master Mechanic, that gives you an extra heal, which I feel like I really want on this ship, but at the same time, I can't get the same range or the same accuracy with those two commanders, so it's definitely a trade-off. In any case, I think the HE spam and fire especially are the biggest weaknesses of this ship. It doesn't do well under sustained HE spam, and obviously a ship with 90,000 hit points is going to lose a lot of them from burning. A fire takes 0.3% of damage, or 0.3% of your ship's total hit points pool per second. So that adds up really quick. And we're on fire here. We're going to see how long it takes to lose a lot of hit points. We're already losing quite a bit. Although we did hit that Vladivostok out there for 2 citadels and 42,000 damage for our very first salvo in this game. I don't think it would be too controversial to say that out of the 3 legendary ships currently available as projects in the Bureau, at the time of this video, that is the Yamato, the Grosse Kurfürst, and the Alaska. The Yamato is both the most powerful of the 3 and also the easiest to play, provided you're not under HE spam. After all, you have 9 18-inch guns. I've got them reloading in 26 seconds with that gun mod in the 4th slot, so they have a pretty good rate of fire. Since they're 18-inch, they're capable of overmatching the bow armor of every heavily armored ship you might encounter in this game, except for the Grosse Kurfürst, since it does have a bit of a strange armor scheme where it's got 2 plates on the bow that the Yamato guns can't overmatch, and then a thin sliver of plating right in the center of the bow that it can overmatch. Doesn't happen too often. Taking a look at this Wichita here, because we've decided firing on the Jean Bart is not so lucrative. This shot looks beautiful, and indeed, it hits the Wichita for a citadel. Not something that I was really expecting to happen, but very nice. That Wichita doesn't know what hit him. He's turning around now. he's panicking, and in his state of horror, he is going to go down to the friendly Bismarck. Now we're going to be able to move forward here, trying to see if we can get shots on that GK. Not so. We know the Jean Bart is over there, and there is also a Vladivostok in the area. So we're going to try to get closer, improve the accuracy. The dispersion on these guns with the Takagi build is pretty solid most of the time, but occasionally you will be afflicted by what I like to call the BS IJN dispersion, and your shells won't hit anything, or you can't see what you're aiming at and you get 2 ricochets off of Vladivostok and 1 over penetration or something. Not super fantastic. Anyway, the ship is very powerful. The guns hit like trucks. The gun sound, of course, is wonderful. And, I don't know, it's just quite a bit easier to play than the Grosse Kurfürst, and you can do well in it a lot easier than you can in the GK, just given your firepower, your accuracy, and your ability to tank battleship caliber AP on your bow from any battleship in the game you're going to come up against, including the GK. The only exception, of course, is another enemy Yamato, which can overmatch your bow. Now, I made a bit of a mistake here. I was turning in because there was a Bismarck cutting across the channel in front of me that did have access to my broadside. So, I'll admit I did panic a tiny little bit there. And, of course, doing that has resulted in me turning and offering my broadside to both the Jean Bart and the Vladivostok. I paid for it with several hit points lost, but still in good shape. One of the benefits of Takagi, by the way, is the will to rebuild skill. You can see that that is going to be active here, and it's going to help us out. This friendly cruiser, I don't know if it's a Wichita right next to me, is going to keep this will to rebuild skill active, and going to keep me alive for this next little sequence here, which is going to demonstrate the other weakness of the Yamato quite well. I've said already that HE spam and fire take a toll on this ship, which is why I'm using the damage control mod for now to cut down on the duration of the fire. Might replace the JoJo inspiration with hide as well, although giving myself more hit points is necessarily going to make the fire damage a little higher. Still, my builds are always a work in progress, and I'm just sort of trying it out. That shot on the Bismarck there, probably the least lucrative shot I've taken this entire game so far. But we've got an enemy GK out there and another Yamato as well. Now, I've said the Yamato can, I believe, overmatch the bow armor of another Yamato. That's true. But the Yamato has a well-known weakness that is easily exploitable in the front of the ship. If it is angled ever so slightly and it exposes the plate of armor right underneath the turrets to any enemy battleship that's close and has sufficient punching power, the shells will go right through that plate armor and into the Citadel. And you're going to see that happen to me in a moment, and then you're going to see me demonstrate that on the enemy Yamato who does it. So it's a nice little demonstration of the other weak point of the Yamato. It is incredibly strong. It does have very strong bow armor, as I've said, and it's got ridiculously stupid torpedo damage reduction at 55%. And here's something that I've never been able to do in my GK when I'm facing a Yamato. That GK just permanently disabled one of my turrets, which I was in a party with another player. He wasn't in the same game as me during this match, and he probably knows how salty that makes me when my turret gets taken out. I'm sure I said a lot of words. Anyway, here's the Yamato sailing at us. We're kind of trying to lead our shot so that it hits him right in that cheek armor, and we don't quite lead him enough. It looks like it went past the cheek. Didn't quite judge his speed right, so we only get 5k on that salvo. He, on the other hand, his aim is not off. He hits us right in the citadel for 16,000 damage. But we've got Will to Rebuild active thanks to the cruiser so close to us. So we're not in immediate danger of dying, and we are able to recuperate those lost hit points pretty quickly. There we hit him in the citadel, doing the exact same thing he did to us. And he, of course, does not have the benefit of Will to Rebuild right now. I don't think so, anyway, because I don't think he's close enough to any of his friendly ships. He, again, does the exact same thing. We get hit in the citadel once more. Will to Rebuild is replenishing our hit points, so we're going to be okay. We can trade with this guy, at least for a little bit. We're probably going to die, but we hit him in the citadel again, just going right through his armor into his citadel underneath the turrets. And now we've turned a little bit, which caused his shells to not hit our citadel. I think they still penetrated the armor, but the damage wasn't quite as catastrophic. He's still presenting the exact same angle. If you're facing another Yamato bow on, then you don't want to present any kind of angle at all, because that can happen. We smack him in the citadel once more and he goes down. He was full health, I think, at the start of that engagement. Find yourself facing another enemy Yamato, point your bow straight at it. That's going to give you a better chance of tanking the damage. You're still going to get damaged, but at least it's not going to hit your citadel, most likely. GK moving in now. We try to repay the favor he paid us by removing one of our turrets from play. Don't quite do it. Our secondaries are also going off on the GK. The Yamato does have a lot of secondaries, and they are kind of interesting to me. I've been close to enemy cruisers in this ship, and the secondaries have gone off and done significant amounts of damage in the same sort of numbers that you see on the GK, actually. Couple hits with the secondaries for 500 to 1,000 points of damage, so that is kind of nice. I don't think I would ever recommend speccing into the secondaries on this ship, though. The main guns are obviously the bread and butter. We've accumulated 176,000 damage so far. The game is about to end. I think we're going to finish with 180, and probably my average game in the ship so far is over 100,000 damage. It's not too terribly difficult to get a lot, although I haven't gotten up to 200k yet. I'll probably be getting a barn burner game sooner or later, and I'll post that for you guys. But this is just the first impressions that I have on the Yamato. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing if you haven't already done that. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.